It was a quiet night in a small town. The stars were bright and the air was cool. John, a man in his late 30s, sat alone in his backyard sipping his coffee. He had no family, no friends nearby. Just silence and the stars. He liked the quiet. After a long day at work, he would sit in the backyard, look at the sky, and wonder what else was out there. But tonight was different. As he stared at the stars, he heard a strange sound. At first, it was soft like a baby's cry. He thought, it might be a cat or maybe a neighbor's child. But the sound didn't stop. It was coming from behind the trees. John stood up, heart beating a little faster. He slowly walked toward the sound. The grass was wet and the air smelled like rain. The crying grew louder. And then he saw it. A small basket was lying near the fence at the edge of his yard. It looked like a baby basket with soft blankets inside. John stopped, confused. He looked around. No one was there. He stepped closer, inside the basket. Was a baby, a real baby, but something was strange. The baby wasn't like any baby he had ever seen. Her skin had a soft blue glow, not bright, just a gentle light. Her eyes were silver, shining even in the dark. John stared, not knowing what to do. Who would leave a baby like this here? Then he saw a small paper inside the basket. It was folded and placed carefully near the baby's tiny hand. He opened it. There was only one sentence. Please, protect her. I will return. That's it. No name, no date, no explanation. John looked around again. Still, no one. He picked up the baby slowly. She didn't cry. In fact, she smiled at him as if she already knew him. Her small hand reached out and touched his finger, and at that moment he felt something. A warm feeling spread through his body. Not fear, not confusion, just connection. Like this baby was meant to be with him. John looked at the sky, wondering if someone was watching. He took the baby inside his house. Inside, he wrapped her in warm blankets and placed her gently on the couch. She looked at him with calm, bright eyes. He sat down in front of her and whispered, "Who are you?" The baby blinked. Then, to his surprise, she giggled. John had no idea what to do next. Should he call the police? The hospital? But what would he even say? That a glowing baby from space was left in his backyard? They would take her away, and something inside told him he couldn't let that happen. As the baby slept, John looked at her more closely. She had a small mark on her arm, like a birthmark, but glowing faintly. It looked like a star. He touched it gently. Suddenly, the mark glowed brighter for a second. The baby's hand reached out in her sleep and touched his. For a moment, he saw something, images in his mind, stars, a strange ship, a woman's face, crying. And then it was gone. John pulled his hand back, heart racing. What was that? He whispered. The baby continued to sleep peacefully. They stayed up all night, watching her, thinking. In the morning, he gave her a bottle. She drank like any normal baby. She smiled when he made silly faces. She grabbed his finger and didn't let go. John couldn't believe it. Just last night he was alone. Now, he had a baby. A strange, glowing, alien baby. But she wasn't scary. She wasn't dangerous. She was just a child, and somehow he already felt like she was his. He named her Luna because she came under the moonlight. He didn't know where she came from, or who the woman was who left her. But he knew one thing. He would protect her. No matter what. Outside, the wind blew softly. The trees moved gently. The stars still watched from above, somewhere out there. Someone was watching, and one day they would return. But until then, John and Luna had each other, and this was only the beginning. John never planned to be a father. But now, there was a baby in his home. Luna with silver eyes and glowing skin, sleeping peacefully in a crib he bought just yesterday. Each day, Luna made him smile. She laughed at birds, reached for sunlight, and made soft sounds that sounded like music. But John knew something was different, more than just her strange appearance. On the fourth day, he noticed it. Luna was growing fast. Her face looked a little older. Her hands were bigger. Her sounds turned into small, clear words. By the end of the first week, she looked like a 1-year-old child. She stood without help and walked without falling. Her eyes still sparkled like silver coins, and her soft blue glow was always there, especially at night. John tried to stay calm, but his heart was full of questions. "What are you?" he whispered to her one evening. Luna just smiled. "Safe," she said, pointing to her heart. "With you." John froze. She could speak. At first, he thought he was imagining it. But every day she spoke more. Simple words, simple ideas. But her voice was clear. Too clear. Then came the strange things. Light bulbs flickered when she cried. The television changed channels by itself when she laughed. Once, the coffee machine started working on its own when she walked into the kitchen. John wrote it all down in a notebook. Not to study her, but to understand her. She wasn't dangerous. She wasn't evil. She was just more. One morning he heard her humming. The tune was not from Earth. It didn't sound like any music John had ever heard. It was soft, slow, and somehow sad. "Where did you learn that?" he asked. Luna looked at him. "Mother sings this," she said, pointing to the sky. John's heart stopped. "You remember your mother?" She nodded. "She cries. She hides. She runs. She loves me." John stared at her, stunned. He knew there was a woman, an alien, who left Luna in the basket. But how could a baby remember so much? Maybe she wasn't really a baby. One night, Luna couldn't sleep. She sat by the window, staring at the stars. "Do you miss her?" John asked gently. Luna nodded. She said, "She come back." John sat beside her. "Do you know when?" Luna looked sad. "When the sky breaks." He didn't understand. Was that her way of saying something bad would happen? Then something even stranger happened. Luna touched John's arm, and suddenly he saw something again, a flash of stars. A spaceship flying through fire. A woman with silver eyes shouting. A dark figure chasing her. And then Luna, as a baby, placed inside a glowing pod. And it ended. John gasped. His skin felt cold. "What was that?" he asked, shaking. Luna held his hand. "Memory," she said softly. "I give you." John looked at her. She wasn't just growing fast, her mind was far ahead. She had knowledge, power, and memories from another world. He now believed something. She was more than a child. She was a message, a secret, and maybe a warning. That evening, he took out the small crystal he found in her basket. Until now, it hadn't done anything. But when Luna touched it, it began to glow. A tiny beam of light came from it and formed a floating shape in the air. It was a star map. John didn't recognize the stars, but Luna pointed to one. "There," she said. "Home." John sat down, feeling overwhelmed. He didn't know where to go, who to ask, or how to keep her safe. But he knew one thing. Someone out there wanted this child hidden, and maybe someone else wanted her found. Just as John was trying to understand it all, Luna walked to the door. She placed her hand on it. Suddenly, the wooden door glowed with the same blue light. "What are you doing?" John asked. "Checking," Luna said softly. "They are coming." John stood quickly. "Who?" But Luna didn't answer. She walked back to her room, calm, like nothing happened. John stayed up all night, watching the stars, watching the woods, thinking, was someone really coming? Who were they? And how much time did he have? He looked at the sleeping child in the next room. The little girl who was not quite human, but who laughed, smiled, and trusted him like a father. He had to protect her. No matter the cost, this was no longer just a mystery. This was a mission. It started with the black car. John noticed it on a Thursday morning, parked across the street, windows dark. Engine off. At first, he thought it belonged to a neighbor. But the house across the street was empty. That night, it was still there. The next day, it returned, same car, same spot. No one ever got out. No one ever went in. John felt something was wrong. Inside the house, Luna played with her toys. She now looked like a 5-year-old, even though only a few weeks had passed. She could read children's books, draw pictures of galaxies, and ask strange questions like, "Why do humans sleep so much?" John smiled when she talked. But behind the smile, he was worried. They were not safe anymore. That night, he closed all the curtains. He turned off the lights early. He didn't want anyone to see inside. He sat near the window, watching the black car. It was still there. Luna walked into the room quietly. They are near, she said. John looked at her. Who's near? She pointed toward the window. The watchers. John's chest tightened. How do you know? I feel them, she said softly. They look with machines. He didn't ask how she knew. He had stopped asking those kinds of questions. Instead, he whispered, Can they see us now? Luna nodded. Not in here. But they listen. John turned on some music, just in case, soft jazz. He didn't know if it helped, but it made him feel a little less watched. The next morning, the black car was gone. But John's worry stayed. He started noticing more signs. A small drone flew near the backyard. Hovering for a few seconds before zooming off, his phone rang once. No number. No sound. Just static. And once he found the front door unlocked. He was sure he had locked it the night before. Luna never seemed afraid. But sometimes she would stop playing, look up, and say, Soon? John didn't know what she meant. That night, while Luna was asleep, John opened the notebook where he kept all his thoughts. He wrote, We are being watched. They know she is here. I don't know what they want, but I will protect her. Suddenly, the crystal on the table began to glow. John jumped. He hadn't touched it. Luna hadn't touched it. But it glowed bright blue, lighting up the whole room. Then a voice came from it, not a human voice, not male or female, just a voice. It said one word, Prepare. Then the crystal went dark. John stared at it. He picked it up, but it was just a cold rock again. He went to Luna's room. She was awake, sitting in bed. You heard it? He asked. She nodded. It begins. John sat beside her. What begins, Luna? You have to tell me more. She looked at him with serious eyes, too serious for a child. They come for me, from the sky, but some are already here. Wearing human skin, smiling fake smiles. John felt his blood run cold. In the black car? He asked. She nodded. One of them. John didn't sleep that night. The next day, he packed some bags. Just clothes, food, water, and the crystal. He didn't have a plan but staying here. Felt dangerous now. He decided to leave the town and drive to an old cabin in the mountains. No neighbors, no roads. Just trees and silence. He had gone there as a child. Now it would be their hiding place. Before leaving, Luna stood in the backyard. She looked up at the sky. What is it? John asked. She pointed up. She watches me from the dark. Who? John asked, confused. My mother, Luna said. She's close, but not ready. John didn't ask what that meant. He just opened the car door. They drove for hours. No music, just the sound of tires on the road and the wind outside. Finally, they reached the cabin, small, dusty, but strong. Luna stepped inside and smiled. This feels safe. John locked every door and window. He placed the crystal near her bed. That night, John heard a sound in the woods. Not animals. Not wind. Something mechanical. He grabbed his flashlight and stepped outside. The woods were dark, too quiet. He pointed the light at the trees. Nothing. But when he turned back to the cabin, he saw something. A shadow moved behind the window. Not Luna. Something else. John ran inside. Luna was standing calmly in the middle of the room. Did you see it? He asked, breathless. Luna nodded. They found us. John looked out the window. Nothing was there now, but they both knew this was just the beginning. The cabin was quiet, too. Quiet. John stood near the window, holding a flashlight in one hand and an old hunting knife in the other. Outside, the trees moved gently, but something in the air felt heavy, like a storm was coming. Luna sat calmly in the center of the room, her eyes glowing faintly in the dark. She's near, she said. John turned to her. Who? The people from the car? The watchers? Luna shook her head. No, my mother. John's hands tightened. For weeks, he had waited for answers. For weeks, he had protected a child who wasn't from this world, and now the one who left her behind was coming back. He didn't know if he felt relief or fear. He stayed up all night watching the woods, but nothing came until morning. A sound filled the air, low, deep, and strange. It wasn't like a helicopter or plane. It was smoother, quieter, but powerful. The trees bent slightly, though there was no wind. Then the light appeared above the trees. A soft silver glow shaped like a teardrop. John's mouth fell open. A ship. It hovered silently. No fire, no noise, just stillness and light. Then slowly it lowered behind the cabin, hidden by the woods. John grabbed Luna's hand. "Stay behind me." But Luna stepped forward, calm. "She won't hurt us." Before John could respond, a soft voice echoed from outside the door. "John." He froze. No one should know his name. The door opened by itself, no wind, no force. Just silence, and there she stood, tall, beautiful, not quite human. Her skin shimmered with silver tones. Her hair floated like smoke, and her eyes were exactly like Luna's, silver, bright, deep. Luna smiled. "Mother." John couldn't move. His legs were frozen, heart pounding. The woman stepped inside, graceful and silent. She looked at John and gave a slow, respectful nod. "You took care of her," she said softly. John found his voice. "You left her in a basket. You gave me no choice." "I had no other," she replied. "If I had stayed, they would have taken her." John's voice shook. "Who are they?" She looked out the window. "My people, my enemies, and maybe soon yours." John didn't understand, but he didn't interrupt. He watched as Luna walked into her mother's arms. They held each other, silent, like a moment frozen in time. After a long pause, the woman spoke again. "My name is Soraya. I came from a world far beyond your stars. I was not supposed to be here. It was a forbidden mission." John listened carefully. "We were scientists, explorers, but when my ship crashed here, I was already carrying Luna, the others on my crew. They wanted to take her, study her, control her." "You mean she wasn't planned?" John asked quietly. "She was a gift," Soraya said, "but not one they understood." John felt anger rise. "So you just left her with me, a stranger?" Soraya looked at him, eyes full of something like sorrow. "You are not just a stranger, I chose you." John frowned. "How?" Soraya raised her hand, and from her fingers a soft light appeared. It formed a shape in the air, a picture of John, years ago, walking alone in a park. "Looking at the stars, I watched Earth for a long time," she said. "I saw kindness. In you, loneliness, yes, but also love. You were the only one I trusted." John's voice cracked. "You trusted me with a child who glows in the dark and makes machines go crazy," Soraya smiled softly. "And yet, you raised her with love." Luna walked back to John, holding his hand. Soraya's voice became serious. "Now we have little time. They've found her, the ones who watch. They are not from my world. They are from yours." John blinked. "Humans?" "No, not anymore. They were changed, taken, hollow inside. They serve something else now." John looked at Luna. "Then what do we do?" Soraya opened her hand. Inside was a strange object like a small disk of light and crystal. "This will protect her for a while. But she must choose soon, stay here or return with me." John looked down at Luna. "What do you want?" Luna looked at both of them. "I want to stay, but I want to help," Soraya nodded. "She's more than a child. She holds something ancient, something powerful. If they take her, they will destroy more than this world." John asked quietly, "Is she a weapon?" Soraya shook her head. "No, she is hope." Outside, the wind changed. The sky grew dark. The trees whispered. "They're coming," Soraya said. John picked up the glowing crystal from the table. Luna grabbed his arm. The family, strange, broken, and unplanned, stood together. For now, they were ready. The wind howled outside the cabin. The sky, once calm, now flickered with strange colors: blue, violet, and deep red. Something unnatural was coming. Inside, Luna sat between John and her mother, Soraya. Her silver eyes were wide but not afraid. She held the glowing crystal in her hands like it was a piece of her soul. John looked at Soraya. "You said she's hope, but what does that mean?" Soraya stood near the window, her voice calm but heavy. "Luna is not just my child. She is, a bridge." John frowned. "A bridge to what?" Soraya turned to him. To peace or destruction? She waved her hand over the crystal. A soft humming began. Tiny lights floated in the air, forming shapes, stars, planets, and finally, two worlds. One was Earth, the other was unknown, glowing with light. My people were once peaceful, Soraya said, but they lost their way. Science became obsession. They wanted control over life, death, even time. John watched the shape shift. One of the glowing planets cracked in half. Destroyed by war, they found something ancient, she continued. A power buried deep in the stars, a living energy, not magic, not religion, just older than time. She looked at Luna. They used that power to create weapons. Beings who could bend light, matter, even minds. But it was too much. It changed them. It changed us, John whispered. You ran. Soraya nodded. Yes, I escaped. I was carrying Luna. She was the first born from that power, not made, born. John couldn't believe what he was hearing. She's part of that energy? He asked. She is that energy, Soraya said softly. But pure, untouched. That's why they want her. John looked at Luna. And what does she want? Luna looked up at him. I want to choose, not be taken, not be used. John felt something burn in his chest, anger, fear, love. You said she could destroy, he said. What does that mean? Soraya stepped closer. If they control her, they can open something. A gate, a tier between worlds. Earth would not survive. Your people are not ready, John looked down. Then we need to hide again, Soraya shook her head. No more hiding. The time is close. She must learn what she is. Luna stood up, holding the crystal. Show me. Soraya walked to her and gently placed her hands on Luna's temples. The cabin filled with a hum, soft at first, then louder. John backed away, shielding his eyes. A light exploded from Luna's body, not fire, not heat. Just light. In the light, John saw visions. Luna floating above the earth, her hands glowing like the sun. Whole forests growing where she walked. Rivers healing, machines melting. People rising and falling, then darkness. The world cracking. Creatures made of shadow walking the earth, a red sky. And Luna standing alone. Then it all vanished. Luna dropped to her knees. The crystal turned black in her hands. John rushed to her. Are you okay? She nodded, tears in her eyes. I saw everything. What did you see? He asked. Choice, she said quietly. I can help Earth live or help it fall. John looked at Soraya. She's just a child. Soraya's voice was calm. Not anymore. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the trees. The ground shook slightly. They're close, Soraya said, eyes sharp. John helped Luna to her feet. We'll protect her. You can't stop what's coming, Soraya said. But you can guide her. Luna turned to John. I want to be human. He looked at her, confused. Why? Because you loved me. Without knowing what I was. John felt his throat tighten. I don't care if you're from Earth or space, he said. You're my daughter. Outside, the wind grew louder. A shadow passed over the moon. Soraya handed John a small device, a smooth stone that pulsed with faint blue light. This will shield her mind, she said, but only once. Use it when they try to take her, John nodded. And after that? Soraya looked at Luna. Then she must fight. Fight how? John asked. Not with fists, Soraya said. With truth, with heart, with her gift. Luna held John's hand tightly. I won't let them hurt you. John smiled. And I won't let them take you. Suddenly the crystal lit up again, this time red. Soraya gasped. They've found. Ushan grabbed his bag, the stone, and held Luna close. Soraya opened the door. Outside, the forest glowed with strange red lights. Shapes moved between the trees, tall, silent, and wrong. Luna looked at them and whispered, They're not alive. Not fully. Soraya nodded. They are hollow, filled with hunger. John stood in front of Luna. This was it. No more hiding. No more waiting. Now. The child would decide the future, and the world would never be the same. Asterisk, the red lights moved between the trees like silent fireflies, except they weren't fireflies. They were hunters. Soraya closed the cabin door slowly. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp with fear. "They are not here to talk," she said. John locked the door. "How many?" "Too many," she replied, "and they will not stop." Luna stood by the window, her eyes glowing faintly. "They can't feel," she whispered. "They don't have hearts." John grabbed the shield stone Soraya had given him and slipped it into his coat pocket. "Then we run." But Soraya shook her head. "If we run now, they'll follow us forever. We need to distract them first." A loud humming started outside low. And steady, like a machine breathing, Soraya turned to Luna. "They're scanning." "Looking for your signal." John stepped forward. "Can we stop it?" Soraya nodded slowly. "Yes, but only for a few minutes. Long enough to escape." She pulled a small device from her belt, thin, round, and covered in glowing lines. John raised an eyebrow. "A bomb?" "No, a blinder," she said. "It hides energy, makes this place look empty." Luna looked up. "You'll stay?" Soraya touched her cheek. "I will delay them. But I will return, I promise." John grabbed her arm. "You can't fight them alone." Soraya looked at him. "I've done it before." Before John could argue, Luna stepped between them. "She has to do this. I feel it." Soraya placed the blinder on the floor. It began to spin slowly, sending out waves of soft blue light. "Go now," she said, "through the back. There's a trail behind the hill. Take the path until you find water. There's an old cave near the river." John picked up his bag, grabbed Luna's hand, and looked one last time at Soraya. "Come back." He said. "I will," she replied. Then they ran. The forest was darker than before. The red lights didn't follow yet, but John knew it was only a matter of time. Luna ran beside him without fear, her small feet barely touching the ground. "They're not chasing us," she said. "Not yet," John answered, breathing hard. "But they will." Behind them, the cabin glowed blue, then faded into silence. Soraya had activated the blinder. For now, they were safe, but only for now. After an hour of moving through trees and climbing rocks, they reached the river. The moon reflected on the water like broken glass. "There," Luna pointed. "I see the cave." John followed her gaze. A narrow crack in the stone wall, half covered in vines. Just big enough for them to crawl inside. They entered the cave, cold and silent. John set down the bag and gave Luna some water. She sat quietly, watching the entrance. Her hands trembled a little. "You okay?" John asked. She nodded, but her voice was soft. "I feel her pain." "Soraya?" Luna nodded again. "They've touched her, not her body, her mind." John sat beside her. "Can you help her?" "Not now," Luna whispered. "But I will." John placed a blanket over her shoulders. "You're strong." Luna looked up. "Not strong, just loved." John's eyes burned. "Always." Then a strange noise echoed through the trees, a clicking sound, sharp, fast, getting closer. "They found the cabin," Luna said, "and they're coming now." John stood up, pulled out the shield stone, and gripped it tight. Suddenly, something moved near the cave entrance. A tall figure stepped into the moonlight. It wasn't human. Its skin was smooth like plastic, face flat and empty, with glowing red eyes. Its body was half machine, half flesh, and it moved without sound. John pushed Luna behind him. The creature stepped forward and stopped. It seemed confused. Luna whispered, "It can't see me. The stone is working." But the creature sniffed the air. It turned its head slowly, like it could still feel something. Then it spoke. "Return the child." Its voice was flat, like a broken machine trying to speak English. John stepped forward. "No." The creature tilted its head. "You are not her blood." "She's my daughter," John said. The red eyes flashed. "Then you will die her father." "It charged." John pressed the stone to his chest. A bright blue shield burst around him and Luna. The creature slammed into it and was thrown backward. Sparks flying from its arms. It growled, twisted its body, and prepared to charge again. Luna stepped forward, eyes glowing white, now not blue. "No more." She raised her hands. The ground shook. The creature froze in mid-air, stuck, unable to move. Luna's voice was soft but full of power. "Leave." The creature's body began to crack, lines of light splitting across its chest. Then With a final pulse of energy, it exploded into dust. Silence followed. John stared. Speechless. Luna looked at him, her hands still glowing. They'll keep coming, she said. John nodded slowly. Then we keep moving. Behind them, more shapes moved in the trees. The hunt was not over. It had only just begun. The cave walls were still glowing from Luna's light. Dust floated in the air, quiet like snow. The creature was gone, turned into ash, but John knew more were coming. He helped Luna sit. Her face looked calm, but her eyes older, not just in age, but in experience. Like she had lived many lives in a single moment. Are you okay? He asked. She nodded. Yes, but the others, they're close. They feel her power. John sat beside her. Then we don't wait. Luna looked up. We don't run either. John was quiet. He knew she was right. Running hadn't worked. Hiding hadn't worked. The time to fight was now. Suddenly, the crystal in Luna's bag began to glow again. But this time it wasn't blue. It was golden. She held it in both hands, and it hovered above her palms. Then a soft voice echoed from it. Luna, it's time. John looked at her. Who is that? My mother, she whispered. She's alive. She's calling me. The crystal shifted, showing an image of Soraya wounded, lying in a silver field, surrounded by shadowed figures. Her voice was faint but clear. They're opening the gate, using my ship. If they finish, they'll tear this world apart. John stood quickly. Where is she? Luna touched the crystal. A small map appeared in the air, trees, hills, and then a bright circle of red light pulsing near a mountain. That's the gate, she said. We have to go. Without waiting, they packed their things and left the cave. The forest was burning in places. Ash fell from the sky like dark snow. Strange creatures moved through the trees, searching, scanning, but Luna walked without fear. They reached the edge of the hill just as the sun began to rise. Below them, in a deep crater, a giant ring of red light pulsed in the earth. Around. It stood, machines twisted, humming, alien. And in the center, tied to a glowing column, was SER. Luna gasped. They're using her mind to open it. John scanned the area. Too many of them. How do we get through? Luna held his hand. You helped me grow. You gave me love. Now I give you my light. She touched his chest, and a wave of warmth spread through him. His fear faded. His heart felt strong. John looked at her. Are you sure? Luna nodded. Let's go. They moved through the trees, silent and fast. The shield stone still worked, hiding Luna's presence just long enough. Then came the sound, a loud, broken roar. One of the creatures saw them. It charged. John stepped forward, but Luna raised her hand first. The creature froze in the air again, just like before, but this time she didn't destroy it. She turned it. Its red light turned blue. Its face shifted. It dropped to one knee. John blinked. You freed it? Luna whispered. Not all of them want this. Some are trapped. More creatures turned toward her, some charging, some stopping. She raised her voice. You don't have to serve darkness. You are not machines. You were alive once. You can be again. One by one they began to kneel. The red gate pulsed brighter. Sensing her power, Soraya screamed from the center. John grabbed Luna's hand. Now? They ran forward, through the kneeling creatures, through the machines that now sparked and failed. At the base of the gate, a final guardian stood, a giant figure. Pure metal and hate. It raised its arm. A beam of red light shot toward them. John pushed Luna aside. The beam hit him in the chest. He flew backward, hard landing in the dirt. Luna screamed, running to him. He was breathing, barely. The shield stone had cracked, but saved his life. Luna knelt beside him, holding his face. I'm okay, he whispered. Go, stop them. She stood, eyes now fully glowing gold. She walked to the center, where Soraya was bound. The gate cracked open, a swirling storm of stars and shadows inside it. If it opened fully, Earth would fall. Luna raised both hands. No. More. The sky shook. The ground split. Every machine froze. Every creature stopped. The gate cracked. And then Luna began to sing, not with words, not with sound, but with light. The golden glow from her hands spread across the crater. It touched the gate, the machines, The sky dot and everything stopped. Time paused dot then one final burst of light. The gate shattered dot silence dot SERA fell to the ground. The machines turned to dust. The red lights faded forever. John crawled to Luna. She stood in the center, eyes fading back to silver. She turned slowly. Is it over? He asked. Luna nodded. For now. Soraya hugged her tightly. You did it. John stood beside them. We did it. The three stood together, not as aliens and humans but as family. Later, as the sun rose fully, they sat near the river again. Luna looked at the sky. I can stay, right? Soraya smiled, if that is your choice. John looked at her. You always had a home here. Luna leaned her head on his shoulder. I came from the stars, she said softly. But I found my heart on Earth. And with that, the stars watched in silence. The child of two worlds had chosen peace. And for now, the world was safe.